All right, cyber traders, welcome on back and happy new year, might I say. Let's get a quick sound check to begin. Should be good to go. Actually, pardon me, I just did that right for all of us inside the trading room. We're testing out our new trading room here today on its first day. Looks like everything should be good to go. I should say that more for our folks on social media, Facebook Live and YouTube. Welcome on back. I hope that you folks can hear me loud and clear as well. But let's dig right into it. I want to copy and paste some news just that I did from earlier this morning inside the cyber group room here. Just give me a quick sec. That I'm going to zoom out on my chart because it's not as much about TIGR right now. Of course, we'll talk about that in a moment. I'll just put this on our list to begin, but it's about the market. We ended up seeing the Dow, the S&P just all dump off after 9:30 this morning after the market opened up. I mean, really, as soon as you open. So, obviously now at this point, the Dow is still down over 500 points. The news that I saw, there's a whole bunch of news across the world, across the market, but one that I saw that was pretty notable. It looks like the UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson to make a televised address at 3 p.m. Eastern time later on today in just about 30 minutes to outline further steps to tackle the rise in COVID-19 cases. So loosely speaking here, and I'm sure that there are some folks inside our trading room, some across social media here that know more than myself, but I know that there's a new strain of COVID and it started out in the UK, and we'll see what happens, but they might be doing a lot more lockdowns over there. So we'll find out more at 3 p.m. at the least. But between that and just other news across the state, New York State that is, and just the market altogether, we saw a big dump off here this morning. And at least for right now, the Dow, the S&P are pretty flat here for the meantime. We'll look to see them hopefully move up and recover. But for right now, what we'll do is just begin by talking about this Tiger trade up on the screen here. So for all of us inside the trading room, this should be pretty familiar. Familiar as in just last week, Thursday, right? New Year's Eve. We ended up trading the stock on the way up. Familiar trade. We've kind of traded this off its IPO years and years back. I think back in 2018 off its IPO, maybe 19. Am I wrong? 19, early 19. So long story short, no pun intended, ended up popping up, dumping right back down. And, anytime you see that type of range, you get hopeful for a squeeze up at some point, someday. And, just over this year, a couple of times on and off, we've traded the stock. And just recently, of course, from just last week, we ended up seeing this close pretty nicely underneath 8, made a bigger pop up towards 850, and here today up higher. So, yeah, for right now, although it's kind of pulling back off its high of the day right now, 918, we'll just put this on our list here, like I said, to start. All right, so I'll tell you, going into today, I knew that we would have our new live trading room to dig into. So I wanted to make sure I was up early, but man, I did not expect the type of volatility that we had after the open. Of course, we had the steady drop off across the market, but we ended up seeing a lot of stocks move against the grain, a lot of stocks move up and up and up. So let's just go through those very quickly to begin. I'll start with number 4 on the gainers list here. That's the JAGX trade. Ended up making a big push, right after the open. We ended up more so calling this out when it ended up breaking a higher high off of $1. So it goes to show, obviously, right now, over 150 and still trying to push to make a new high. You don't know how far these stocks are going to lead us towards, but if they end up building as steady of a trend as you saw here, you just take it level by level. The best problem that you can come to us with is that you're leaving money on the table on a trade like this. Because if you're leaving money on the table, it at least goes to show you're taking some money off the table to begin, right? At least you're making some money if you end up jumping in and out quickly. So, this is the type of stock that you could load up on shares with, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 shares. At this stage in the trade, though, kind of like you saw it just before, I mean, it's easy for us to point this out now, but, for as much of a move as we saw from $1 all the way up towards over 150, well, you just started to see a little bit of a pullback. It's pushing back up right now, but I'd be a little wary of some shakes, some pops and drops here on this trade heading into the afternoon. So for the meantime, much like the TIGR, we'll just put this on our list. Looking pretty good though. Man, bingo. I mean, just dumped off from 7. I was going to put this on our list just with the way this was looking, but at this stage, the question that you have to ask is how far can this stock continue to go? We traded the stock all throughout last week, really from like 80 cents, 90 cents, obviously now all the way up towards 7 and above today. So, this threw me off guard. I was not nearly as inclined to focus on this myself heading into the morning. Rightfully so. We had this on our watch list just in case, and obviously and ended up making the move. So for those that ended up jumping in, we'll talk more about this trade tomorrow in our Traders Talk workshop. That's our live Q&A session for all of us in social media. We do that in our trading room. That is every Tuesday. So tomorrow we'll have a better chance to break down the X's and O's on this bingo stock, why it threw me for a loop here after the market opened up, and how you could have ended up jumping in and out. At this stage, you should still note it's technically still making a higher low. It technically still is. But after moving up from $1 up to 7 and above, across a few days, again, just the better question to ask is when's it going to totally tank? So for the meantime, it still looks tradable, but I'm not as keen to put this on our main list just yet. If it ends up breaching back over 650 and holds support there, then there's a better chance to see it make the run up towards those highs. So if it makes that move, we'll be able to call it out in time. There's no doubt about that. I just think that we should focus on others, just to begin here first. OCGN, not one that was as nice. The OCGN stock made a big move in pre-market early in the morning. It had a high float, so you didn't think it was going to make as sharp of a drop. But man, as soon as the market opened, and this was already trending down to begin, or trending down off its highs. But nonetheless, after it pulled back even more, it never really made a great opportunity. So it's not all about the winners here. It's not to say that I took a loss on this in particular. I did not. But it goes to show that not every stock that we're going to put on our list, not every stock that looks good in pre-market is going to trade even better after 9:30. This certainly did not. So, maybe later on this week, maybe keep it on your side list. It seems like a nice level 1 stock if all goes according to plan. All right. From Zuhair here in our chat board, he's asking what time the session starts. Zuhair, if you could hear me, I hope that you can. We're doing our live broadcast right now. We'll resume the commentary, though, once I'm done with this broadcast later on at 3 p.m. Eastern. All right. I'd be remiss to not mention Riot and Mara, right? So, of course, with Bitcoin just exploding over the weekend, we ended up seeing Riot and Mara make a gap up, overnight into this morning. But with the market, they ended up diving off pretty quickly here. Riot ended up making a pop and drop from 19, dropped all the way down to 17, and much underneath that, it dropped all the way down to 1585 low of the day. So this seems to be moving really well. With just the market in general today. You can see the correlation with the Dow Industrial chart I have up there. So it's not every day that's going to happen. We typically say Riot and Mara move with Bitcoin. Well, Bitcoin right now is like pushing back up a little bit right now live, like literally as of right now. I'll show you that chart. I can do that at least today. Not every day I have the ability to make this little switcheroo coming up, but give me a quick sec. All right, so here's our Bitcoin minute here in our afternoon meeting, a quick little feature on Bitcoin. But nonetheless, here's the last few minutes. Moving up pretty nicely here. It's a 3-minute chart. So, once the market opened up at 9:30, the stock market, that is, yeah, Bitcoin dumped off a little bit, not nearly as much as what happened, going into this morning. The Bitcoin ended up making a huge run, across the last week, across from Friday heading into today. So naturally, you're going to see a bit of a pullback. All right, so with that, it's just interesting that Riot and Mara are kind of more correlating with just how the markets are moving here today, the Dow and the S&P. I'm not as keen to put them on our main list heading into the afternoon. You folks know that I always love Bitcoin. I love Riot. I love Mara. So I'll probably be the first one to call them out if they end up making a move for us. But for the meantime, we'll kind of pass. All right, so let's go from top to bottom, folks. Let's see what else we got here. So far, we only have Tiger and Jagex. We have 2 animals on our list, Tiger and Jaguar. We'll call it JAGX. All right, so check here. CHEK made a nice push earlier this morning. Not a whole lot going on right now. NCTY just looks choppy, not much going on there either. And here, really, at this point, folks, we'll kind of just skim through. I'm not going to click on every stock. I mean, I'm just going to click the ones that I know of, the ones that I'm familiar with. V-Ray, we ended up calling out earlier off this pop. I said it looked good at the time, and thankfully now it's just continued to kind of hold and move up higher. So heading into this afternoon, I like this one so far, the V-Ray trade here. Be careful. If there's one concern I have, it's not really showing right now. It actually... decent tier size for the meantime here. Just if this keeps popping and moving up faster, it's going to thin out a little bit. That's all. You know what? Let me get the price here going. Let's better. All right, so what do we have here? Triple U. I think we had quadruple U here at one point. What is this? Unite Security, whatever. All right, so ended up making a nice push earlier heading into the afternoon. Just big spread, lack of volume on the book, the small tier sizes, like I was saying before. Probably say the same with BTB too. Yeah. And this MTMB is held pretty nicely throughout this afternoon, as grinded on up, but at least across the last half hour has held pretty strong. So this stock we ended up trading actually back from Wednesday and then Thursday of last week, more Wednesday, but ended up making a really slow move, like watching the grass grow. So at least today it kind of made that same stagnant push up. I mean, it's nice to see. Not every stock is as steady moving as this was, but you can see here off the pop from 170, starting to move a little bit quicker on the way up here. And should we see this next break over 180, I'd hope to see the same. So MTNB for the meantime, it seems like a nice level 1 stock. I don't mind adding this here as well. Probably say the same, although it just dipped off a little bit here. The SLCA, we've been following also heading into this afternoon, more so from the late morning into the afternoon. Ended up making a nice push after the market opened, but has held strong since. And actually, it just broke over 9. It looks like it just kind of cracked over 9, popped up to a high of 911, and then pulled back down pretty sharply. Let's see what happens here on the time and sales. 39. 907 looks like there's some volume on the tape there. You could see on the TradeStation Matrix volume bars like 905, 907, 908. Not a whole lot of volume on the order book there so far, but with this still kind of near the highs, I'll give this a look. Maybe this one be near the middle or the bottom of our list at the end of it all. I like the Tiger trade more. I like V-Ray more. All right, let's see what else we got, though. Norman was calling out eyes inside our trading room just before, so here we go. Here's eyes, number 22, up 25% just about. Yeah, nice push. Pretty spotty chart here earlier on this afternoon, but, as of right now, it's above our, well, not as of now, I mean from earlier, it busted above our minimum requirement, 500K. And with this pushing up more and more right now, you could see some more volume coming in. So, yeah, I like this. Give this a look here. Eyes. Check out nose and throat and ears after, I guess. All right. There actually is a stock named Ears, E-A-R. Probably a couple of months back, actually. I remember this. Like, eyes was number 1 and ears was number 2 on the gainers list. It was pretty freaky. All right. So what else do we have here? I don't think they trade, though, together. So what else we got? EBON, another dud from earlier today. It looks like it's grinding on up here right now, but already made such a big move from the morning, popped up, dumped all the way back down. So for as much of a move up as we're seeing here, I don't know how much more we're going to get. All right, that's just about it across the gainer side. I guess I'll look at AMRS here at the end, and rightfully so, I guess. Nice push. Slow and steady. It's at the highs right now. So, this was one that just caught my eye at the end here. One that we've been calling out. I think Norman and Bonnie were calling this one out earlier in our room. So wanted to give this a last look, and thankfully I did. So I'll put this on here too. All right, let's hop over to the losers list, see if there's anything looking just as good, if not better. And actually, a quick water break in between. It's a lot better. All right, so Cala got crushed early on this morning. Ended up making a bit of a move up, in pre-market into the open, but ugly since. Not a whole lot happening. GNW say the same. Yeah, a bunch of stuff hard to borrow here, folks. Unless if it's down as much as Cala. I mean, QuantumScape, it's just a little expensive. Big spread still. So I don't know. So one of our students asked me on this, like what the news was on QuantumScape. I don't know. And I checked on Benzinga earlier. I would have thought that they would have had it, but nothing. And not even from at the end of last week. Let's see. Oh, actually just got an update. We'll update. Breaking news here. Not so breaking. It came out at 2 o'clock. So 44 minutes late to the news. I haven't checked since the late morning, though. But it's actually one of my predictions. I told my student here who had asked, I said, it wouldn't shock me if it was a common offering. I thought the news would have come out a lot earlier. Provided this drop off, but that's the news as far as QuantumScape here. I don't know what they list the shares at, but now we'll do it. Big drop, down 40%. Crazy. All right, well, if you're bullish on this stock long term, you might want to look at a big support level coming up for a swing trade. LC dropping back down, made a big move Thursday last week, New Year's Eve. I forgot about this, actually. Huh. All right, folks, that just about does it from my end here. I don't see much else, across the gainers and losers list. I mean, the market dropped off early on today. It made a small bounce back up. Checking on the airlines, the cruise lines, the casinos, and etc. But, AAL tradable, it's near the lows. I guess it's kind of pulling back a little bit here heading into the afternoon, but not a whole lot to write home on there. I mean, it's not really like making me like chomp at the bit to get into. Maybe UAL will be faster, more expensive. Called out CCL off 20 earlier. That I felt like that was a decent setup to catch a bounce. I didn't make that patented under and over move that I would want to see, but that's fun. I'll tell you, folks, for the first day of the year, not bad. We did really well earlier on today. In fact, actually, I mean, like heading into the late morning, I had one losing trade, 4 winning. Then heading into the afternoon here, I started to chip away at those profits, started to take a couple of losses. So, you know what? I'm going to yank my own leash here, so to say, and tell myself to take a step back. So heading into the afternoon, we'll see if there's anything else out there that looks great. I guess this MGM, it's at the lows, tradable stock, but otherwise, I'm pretty content with what we have. If there's anything else that you folks see, just type it in the chat boards here across Facebook Live, YouTube, of course, in the cyber group room here. FSell at 1050, that's a setup too. Don't get me wrong. It's been teasing that 1050 break from the afternoon or from the, pretty much right from 12 o'clock. Chuck saying he just noticed the FRSX popped off of, was that 40? Oh, 4. Chuck, I just did a double take there. I'm like, FRSX moved to 40. So great call nonetheless. 4 or 40. It just popped over 4. A lot of buying coming in right there. It's not up a whole lot percent-wise, but Chuck, I know this is one of your side list stocks. This is one of your bread and butter stocks recently. So I'm sure either way, you're personally going to be following this into the afternoon if you're not already in the trade. It wouldn't shock me if you're in from 4. And I'd say good entry if so. John says V-Ray at 6. I'll tell you, that looks pretty good. So I think for right now, I'm pretty content with what we have. In total, we got 2, 4, 6, 7. I'll take it. All right, folks. So like I had said to myself before, like I'm saying to you, of course, right now, if you ended up making your money earlier on today, it's not to say to not trade, just, be more selective, be more focused on, a really confident trade. Just don't throw something on the wall and hope it lands. It's not worth it, right? So, heading into the next few moments here, folks, I'm going to jump off the mic and jump back on probably around 3:15, 3:30. All right. Henzo, if I have that pronounced right. Thanks, Josh. First time in the room. Shout out from Vancouver to all. Very nice, Henzo. Welcome aboard. And for all of our new trial members here joining us inside our trading room. For all of us on social media, of course, you folks are listening in as well right now. If you'd like to become a trial member, like to join us inside our cyber group room, feel more than free to sign up. Go to the link right on the banner below and just join us any day of the week here. All right. I'll talk to you soon, folks. Take care.